UAP fans, I found out something today that had completely passed me by, which changes, in my humble opinion, the whole of the Nimitz UAP encounter story. And that's about the CAP point. Let me explain. The three most talked about scenarios of who is making these UAPs are: one, they're aliens; two, they are from a foreign power who have some advanced technology who are demonstrating them against the US; or three, they are a US military technology that they're leaking to their adversaries through us, the media. And it's one of the three. Personally, my hat goes on the third, which is they are American technology, which is being a controlled leak. But I'm open-minded to all three possibilities. And I definitely think the F-18s, the Hornets, the Princeton, the Nimitz, and Fravor and his team saw something. Don't get me wrong there. But today I learned something that had passed me by, and it is amazing, and it changes the story and points towards who controls the UAP. So the Princeton is a floating electronic warship with the longest radar of multiple wavebands, bristling with communication devices and other sensors to see stuff in this military operational exercise area, MOA, where they can do live fires. Live firing. Let me explain again what an MOA is. It's a place where you can do war games. This particular one, where they saw both of the MOAs where they saw the UAPs were American live firing ranges. They go from subsea to space, so you can literally launch a missile from a submarine into space. Now, it's really important, and I'm putting my Cessna pilot hat on here, that nobody strays into an MOA. So the Princeton's job, there was one person on a radar that was looking at the perimeter of this military operation area while they were doing live firing tests. This particular one is also designated as an advanced propulsion test area for contractors. But on this day, they were doing F-18 Hornets and submarines, I think, were in the area, and a general Navy exercise. So some bloke or some girl at the Princeton was monitoring the periphery of the MOA. If anything strays into it, like me in my Cessna, they close down the live firing. So they need to know. But any decent pilot would know the periphery of a military operation area and wouldn't go into it. And also on their chart, the pilot's chart, would be something called a frequency for the controlling authority. So for some reason you needed to go in, or you just wanted to go in, you could call up on your VHF radio and say, this is 80 Delta Lima in a Cessna, and I would like to transit the MOA from the north to the south at 3,000 feet, and they would tell you to, anyway, that's what would happen. And if I was really bad and I strayed into the MOA without speaking to anybody, first of all, they would shut down all live firing exercises. They would know, they would hope that I was a decent enough pilot to have the frequency on my chart. So they would call me up on a VHF radio going, unknown aircraft, this is the Princeton, you're in a military operational area, over. I wouldn't say anything because I wasn't listening. So they would scramble F-18 Hornets and intercept these people busting the MOA. And that's what happened. That's what happened to the UAP. They were in the MOA, The exercises stopped. They were non-communicative, and that's exactly what the Navy said. The F-18s went up. They had them on radar. They definitely could see them. They're on forward-looking infrared. They're a bit odd, but they definitely were objects which they could track on multiple sensors. And I'm not denying that they exist. They are real objects. Whether they're solid objects, I don't know. But they existed on multiple sensors. Fravor and his team go up and rendezvous and take classic pictures, forward infrared pictures of these craft, which they can track and lock onto. And they're fascinating. And we'll get on to why we got to see them in a minute. Then at the end of the intercept, either the crafts went away or they lost them or something else happened. A piece of information that I didn't know, and that was the Princeton, controlling Fravor and his F-18s, said rendezvous at Cap Point. A cap point is a known, mapped in space, lat longitude, in the air, an invisible point, but a place you go for safety. It's a way of saying everybody go back to home base, right?
A big part of Hal's talk was this Nimitz encounter. The interesting thing about the Nimitz encounter was it showed intentionality. When they announced at Cap Point to the F-18 fighters, Cap is a combat assembly point, the UAP went to the Cap Point almost instantaneously before the fighters did. So that showed, number one, they were monitoring somehow our communications. Number two, the intentionality of knowing what was about to happen and going there before the fighters went there.
In the Navy aircraft, on their GPS or their navigation systems, I'm not an F-18 pilot, you can press in Cap Point, it will come up, it'll give you a steer, a heading, you fly your Hornet over and you rendezvous circling the CAP or a Cap Point. And that's what happened that day. And it's hardly ever discussed. What happened next is fascinating. When the Princeton, over a VHF radio, said to the F-18 Hornets, rendezvous at Cap Point, instantly the UAPs went zook and appeared at the Navy Cap Point. And that's mentioned, I've heard people say that, but I suddenly realized it's very, very revealing. Why? Well, one, the three scenarios. One, they're aliens and they've come to visit Earth and they're flying saucers. Aliens don't have VHF radios. Aliens probably don't speak English, and definitely aliens don't know the Navy designated Cap Point. Basically, it blows them out of the equation. Two, they're a foreign adversary testing the US Navy. Okay, foreign adversary would have VHF radios and would be intercepting sea-to-air transmissions from the Princeton. Okay. Two, they probably have English as a second language, but English they will understand. They might be a little slower, but they would understand F-18's rendezvous at Cap Point. But three, they don't know. A foreign adversary would not know the location of the Cap Point. And their UAP, the foreign UAP, if that's what it was, goes to the Cap Point. That puts me in some doubt that it's a foreign power. So who does that leave? That leaves the American DoD, who, yes, have VHF radios, two, understand English, and three, know where the Cap Point is. And they put the UAP, their UAP, at the Cap Point. All right, so where am I going with this? Well, I absolutely think that the Nimitz encounter UAPs are American technology, probably. I mean, it's the most likely scenario. They've done it before with stealth. When they had stealth, they drip-fed bits of stealth all over the media to put the willy up the foreigners because they wanted them to leak that the Americans were working on radar invisible stealth aircraft. And they used the flying saucer trick. The classic story is the poor bloke who, on his ham radio, picked up some weird frequencies of a radar test at Albuquerque, probably Kirtland Air Force Base, or maybe at Sandia Lab, where they were doing radar signature bounce testing to see how stealthy airframes were. And he picked it up and he contacted the military, and rather than locking him up or telling him to be quiet, they played their ace card. Was they told him, "Oh, you heard us talking to our flying saucers." And he goes, "What?" They invited him to the base and they said, "Over there in that secret hangar, we have UFOs. Bye." And he ran out going, "Ah!" Published a book. And in the end, he had a mental breakdown because it was misinformation. He was being fed a lie because of stealth technology. And that's what I think we are being fed, a lie.
Another aspect of ATIP program is the formation of a public-private partnership called To the Stars Academy. So To the Stars Academy is largely created for outreach. So this is a SEC-regulated public benefit corporation, so it's supposed to be for the benefit of the public, and the public can invest in it if they want, and it's set up for public outreach. So if you see public releases, for instance, of footage, that To the Stars Academy would be one of the ways that the military can get this stuff out into the public.
So they formed this company who supply videotapes and files to the media of the stuff. Christopher Mellon, Deputy Secretary of Navy Intelligence. Yeah, of course. He's running a counterintelligence, leaking UAP stories to the press who go, "Flying saucers." And in China, they go, "Holy fuck, what is it that the Americans have? Because we don't have these." It's obviously disinformation. But the cap point, I think, is a very big bit of evidence. How would the aliens have a VHF radio, speak English, and know where the cap point is? No. How would the Chinese or the Russians have a VHF radio? Yep. Speak English? Yeah. And know where the cap point is? No. Leaving the Americans, VHF radio? Yep. Speak English? Yep. Know where the cap point is? Yes. I don't know what this really adds up to, but I honestly think, and I am very open to be proved wrong, and I still don't know the nature of the UAP, although I have also theories on that, but I do think that the UAP that we saw on social media, on YouTube, on TV, was misinformation fed to us by the American Department of Defense. All I can say is keep digging, because the truth is still out there. Hey, you got this far listening to the bizarre ramblings of some old bloke with wild hair. Thank you very much. I'd like to make this important statement. I am a journalist, a science writer, and I'm willing to change my story when it's proved conclusively that UAPs are aliens, time travelers. I'll go with the story. When it's proved conclusively that they are technology of a foreign power, that would be fascinating. But in my humble opinion, at present, and I am totally open to new information, I think UAPs are being leaked to us by the US Department of Defense. Now, I could be wrong, and will we ever get to the bottom of this? I really hope. That's why I do these stories, and I hope you find them interesting. If you do, please subscribe. Please give this film a like, and much more important, please comment below on what you think. Because of you, the truth is out there.